Good afternoon, Northside. Many of you have picked up the SOAPS journal, and I wanted to do a quick tutorial as some have asked, how do you want me to use this journal this semester as we go through the book of Colossians? Great question, and let me give you a little bit of insights here. I'd heard about the SOAP model for Bible study before, but when I went to visit a church in Denver with Kylan and Corey and Wayne, we heard many of the staff and their group leaders talking about SOAPs, and we loved how it had become part of their culture, their language, and their rhythm for abiding with God. And we wanted to utilize that tool here at Northside. So we started working on putting that together and making it fit our culture and what we wanted here for you and for us here at Northside. And so the method is really a daily Bible study to help us, and it's all around the acronym SOAPS, S-O-A-P-S. And the S stands for Scripture. And for this fall semester of 2023, we're in the book of Colossians. So I would suggest that you spend the week in either the text that you've just read and studied as a group, or the text that you will be in next week as a group. For example, our group on Sunday night just went through Colossians chapter 1 through 14. And so this week I'm going through and encourage our group to go through those verses, those 14 verses. You may choose to do 2 or 3 of them each day, or you may choose to read all 14 and then focus on the things that really stand out to you on each day of your week. In this section of your journal, where is the scripture part, you can write key words, you can write phrases, or you can actually write out the verses that you're really focusing on for that day. Now the O stands for observation. I'm simply writing down what the author was trying to say, or what I was drawn to, or what stood out or was helpful to me personally. Now you'll notice on this first page in your journal, on what'll be the left side, you get to write what scripture you're going to be reading and the date, and then you have the S and the O. Now this left side, really, these first 2 things are how God is breathing into you. And then on the second page, we're going to start thinking about how you're going to breathe this out in your very own life. So the first page, we're thinking about the scripture and the observation and what is God speaking into you, and then how am I going to breathe that out. So the A at the top of the next side of the page stands for application. And in this section, I'm thinking about what am I going to do with what I've just read and I've studied. I like to think of it as my I will section. So I will... What's that going to be for you? And another acronym that is helpful is the acronym SPEC. So is there a sin to avoid or confess? Is there a promise to claim? Is there an example to follow? Or is there a command to obey? And that kind of gets my mind thinking about, on this passage of scripture, what's my I will statement, or what are my 2 or 3 I will statements? I'm going to write those into the application part. Then the P stands for prayer. And this is just to write a couple of things. I like to write a couple of things I'm thankful for, first of all, and then some personal thoughts to the Lord, what I need to talk to Him about. And again, He's breathed into me through His Word. Now I'm breathing out to Him in a personal way in my prayer time, and I want to write some of those personal things out. And then the last S stands for share. And in this space, I'm going to write out, maybe we'd call it a proverb, or just a concise statement of what stood out to me that day in the passage that I'm reading, and what I want to share with others. So I may want to share it with my family, I may want to share it with my kids or with my bride, I may want to share it with some other friends or people that I work with, or maybe this is what I'm going to text everybody in my group today. Hey, in SOAPS today, this is my statement for the day, or this is my proverb for the day out of what I studied. And so it's our hope, it's my hope, that this journal will not only guide and help you as you abide together with Christ and in His Word, but it'll be something that you'll share with others, that you'll share with your groups, and it'll be an encouragement and an accountability. And it actually reminds me of Hebrews chapter 10, verses 23 to 25, where it says, "Let us hold tightly, without wavering, to the hope that we affirm, for God can be trusted to keep His promise." We're in His promises in His Word. And then it says, let us think of ways to motivate one another to acts of love and good works. And let us not neglect our meeting together, as some people do, but encourage one another, especially now that the day of His return is drawing near. And so it is my prayer that these SOAP journals will help you and I as we abide with the Lord. They'll help us to not only encourage us, but encourage others as we are accountable to one another and we share this with one another about how God is working in our personal lives. So let's go. Let's go do it. Grab one of these for your group if you haven't yet. They're in the lobby, in the Next Steps lobby, for your group to have. And share these with your group, and then share your personal SOAPs with your group to be an encouragement to them.